That tends to be how I breathe in these videos. Before I got a microphone, you could hear my breath so bad in my really early reviews. And still you can hear me breathing sometimes. This microphone is located behind the computer monitor, but it's so sensitive that it can hear everything. So I apologize for any heavy breathing and all the congestion that I always have. And spontaneous coughing, that happens as well. It seems when I get a dry throat, I cough for some reason. But you get a dry throat when you talk for a few minutes, so sorry. Okay, so that's a weird introduction, but before I was collecting scale vehicles, I was collecting these 1/12 scale or 6-inch action figures. And this is actually a copycat figure. It's not even a real figure. The real figure is made by Bandai. It's called SH Figuarts. And this is actually a knockoff of it. And I put my own cloth cape on. It came with this hard plastic cape. But anyways, even this cheap knockoff, you can get some decent poses out of this Darth Vader. But now that I've been collecting these vehicles, I've been collecting now cartoon vehicles, these Choroqs, and some cartoony figures to go along with them, although they're a little too big. So what happens when you try to combine cartoonish looking vehicles or cartoonish looking characters with more realistic characters? Today we're going to unbox something new that came in the mail. Well, actually it's not new. I think it came out a long time ago, but it's new to me, and it's supposed to be new in package. I ordered this off eBay. Mandarake is the store. They have their own website as well. And this is called Herocross is the brand. Although from these sides you wouldn't know that. Only here you'll see it says Herocross. And 2014, so yeah, this is a pretty old model now, or old figurine. The barcode's even faded away. But let's see if it's new. Let's see if I got what I paid for. So this sleeve. So out of the sleeve we get a little window view of this figure. It's highly reflective. It says Star Wars down red, a little Imperial logo, and then again, same stuff as before. Alright, what do we have here? It's taped down. Interesting that an action figure would have a user's guide, but it does. Let's take a look. Alright, parts count, how to put them together. That's a cool shot. So there's a stormtrooper available. Oh, here's a little catalog, kind of cool. So a dark trooper, a shadow trooper I guess is called. We got some Disney stuff and old Batman. The Batmans are kind of funny. I just don't like Batman enough to get this. I'd rather have an Iron Man or an Optimus Prime, to be honest with you, but I don't have much room, so I'm not intending to collect these. Alright. Oh, a sticker. I think that's going to go on the base. So the lightsaber has a bend to it, which isn't realistic. Darth Vader's supposed to have a straight beam coming out of his lightsaber. I don't know if this thing comes out. Yeah, alright. It might just be placed poorly in there. So let me try to pop that back in. Okay, so that was just poorly mounted. That's the way it's supposed to look. This is a translucent red. You can see, yeah. So that's nice. It's not just like solid red paint. So it looks kind of nice. And then, yeah, decent enough details here. Buttons, switches, all that stuff. Okay. So then we have 4 hands. We have these 2 choking kind of hands, you know, choking with the force kind of thing, left and right. And then we have some grip hands for the lightsaber. Yeah, I can't really imagine what else they would be used for. I was thinking maybe a thumbs up, but it's not really a thumbs up. Alright, so I posed this guy and I was messing around with it quite a bit. And so let's talk about what I learned here after messing around with the thing. First, the stand. You have to put this sticker on. It's absolutely ridiculous. First you gotta put the sticker on these 4 holes. I had to try to apply this sticker like 5 different times, and now there's a wrinkle. This one's okay, but really for the price of the original retail price of this figure, this should be tampo printed, or really just give a sticker of the circle. Why do you have to have a sticker going around this stuff? It just makes it so difficult. So the stand is kind of stupid. Also, well, there's some sort of compartment here. This whole, I don't know what, I guess the hands maybe. It is nice that it's magnetized. Okay. But these pegs here are to hold the 4 extra hands. There's just a friction fit here. You know, it's a pretty tight friction fit as well. So that's nice that you can conveniently show off the hands or put them in the bottom storage. But what's not good is this. This is so loose. You can actually see the air passing between this hinge, right? See? Look at that. But the screw holding it is covered with a piece of plastic, I think. So there's no way to easily adjust the tension of this and tighten it. Right now it's so loose, it serves no purpose. So this stand is pretty bad. The only good thing about it is a magnetic cover, which you're never going to really see, right? Alright, so that's what's going on there. Alright, but as you can see as I post it, he poses very well. He poses much better than the Boba Fett. And mainly it's because the armor pieces or the clothing above the metal skeleton of this figure are pretty thin, and the gaps are big enough that you can actually bend the joints into these positions. So let's go over the figure a little bit here. So first, the helmet here. You can actually remove the top, which is nice. And there's really great detail here. You know, gold, silver, molded texture, a lot of painted stuff going on. Going around to the back here, you got all these details here. So pretty nice. The head is on a small ball joint there, and I think it's a dumbbell. You can see the neck here is a dumbbell, and it seems to have a piece of rubbery material to cover up that thing. It makes it look like a neck, right? This ribbed piece here. So this cape here is really nice. It's this nice cloth on the outside, but then it's a different cloth on the inside. So it's literally a lined cape, and then the bottom and the sides have a wire in them, so you can actually, you know, mold the cape to whatever form you want, windswept or, you know, scrunched up. So that's great. It's a great cape. And then it's got this little metal chain to go onto the front, which goes onto this shoulder piece here, and you'll see right here there's a tiny hook there, so you can actually, you know, hook the chain on that and then put them on the character. So that's very nice indeed. And then the way the cape was sewn, you can see that it's actually sewn at the shoulder. So that's what allows the cape to drape nicely, just like in this real image, you know, across his shoulders. Whereas unlike my homemade cape for this knockoff Bandai, it's not sewn there at the shoulder, so it like, you know, kinks out and stuff. It's just not, it's very amateur hour. So this is much nicer. Alright, so you'll notice here there's a lot of extra stitching, and I think that's to keep the metal wire from popping through the fabric. So the metal wire might end there. So very well thought out cape, very nice. The shoulder piece here, the top chest piece or whatever you want to call it, this is the back side. So this is the front side. But the shoulders themselves, it's the same material, but there's only a little bit of material there, so it allows it to pivot, which allows you to raise the arm, you know, nicely. Alright, so that's nice. So he has an inner robe, and it's also of a material, you know, some sort of synthetic material. And I kind of feel like the edges were heat sealed, like it was heat cut. So hopefully it won't fray too much, because the ends are melted. The top, well, these arm pieces, let me take it apart. So this is the bare skeleton right here. This joint with the shoulder here is two pieces of plastic. You can actually see it screwed together there, and there's a parting line right there. But down here, this is metal. This whole, lower bicep and forearm are metal. So this hinge was really tough before, but I just worked it a couple times and it's not so bad now. I think there was just too much paint in there before. But the way it came with the top piece like this. So there's an angled part and then there's a flat part. So the angled part was up here, and then the lower forearm cover also has a flat part and an angled part. But the way they shipped it from the factory, they had the flat part go into the arm first, like this. But the problem with this, I felt, is when you bend it, it exposes a lot of the elbow, right? So I decided to flip this part around so the angled piece is going into the arm first. And so you see it covers up half the elbow a little bit better. It doesn't, you can mess around with it if you decide to get this yourself. But you see, if you bend the elbow in a certain way, you can actually cover a lot of it because this is at an angle now. Okay. Initially, this ball for the hand was really tight. Yeah, it's still pretty tight. But it seems to, maybe it got loose or something. I don't know. It's not as bad as the first time. Alright, so I'm going to put this back on here for a second, just to show you the articulation. So there's that shoulder piece, right? So that moves out of the way, no problem. Very nice. There's also in the bicep, there's a joint that allows you to rotate the arm. So that's nice as well. Alright. So you just want to make sure, though, before you bend a joint, you want to make sure the hinge is in the right orientation, right? I found that the legs were actually on backwards. So before the legs, let's get to this thing. Here at the torso, this might be hard to see, I'm trying to get light in there. There you go, there's a peg, and I think there's a ball on top of it, and that's what's holding the top part on. I never bothered to pop it out, though. But you can see the gap here, it allows pretty good movement here. Here's the head movement, forward, back. Here's the upper torso movement for the whole thing. Pretty decent range for a cartoon character, or a tuned version of a Darth Vader. Side to side isn't so good, though. The neck joint isn't very long, so. But for the torso, again, pretty decent. I'm impressed. Alright, it's usually covered, though, with this belt here. And this is like a soft rubbery, well, I wouldn't say it's soft, it's a hard rubbery material. But it doesn't go around the whole crotch area, it's only the front. So that allows the legs to get a lot of movement. So I'm going to take this leg apart and show you. There's a ball here for the foot. And then it's covered up again with these pieces. So there's the bare skeleton. And again, just like the arm, this is two pieces of plastic screwed together. And here's the rotating joint here, so you can rotate the whole leg. Then there's the hinge for the knee, and then there's a ball for the foot. So when I pulled it out originally from the box, the thing was backwards. So I was trying to bend into the knee, and it couldn't because it was backwards. So you have to take this apart, make sure everything's oriented the proper way. Alright, so let me put this back together. So in this case, I'm going to put the angled part in first, so it gives more clearance for the leg to move around. I guess it really doesn't even matter, because this ball area is so open, it just doesn't matter, to be honest with you. So that's a hinge joint right there for the hip. Alright, so now, I don't think there's a difference between these shin pads. They look identical to me. Alright, so pop that on. And then the feet, though, are shaped differently, so there is a left and right foot. Pop that back on. There you go. Move that thing back down. So articulation-wise, you can go all the way out and then all the way forward, even higher than 90, right? So that's really good. And then even kick back a whole bunch as well. I mean, that's impressive articulation. It's like a actual realistic figure's articulation. These things, the hip joint doesn't move up or down though. It's locked in place here, but you know, it doesn't seem to matter because this guy can really bend a lot. All right, so I'll bend the knee with all this arm clothing on. Great bend in the knee, 90 degrees. So you can get some good, you know, running movements there. Yeah, it's really cool. Alright. So those are my findings. It's definitely better than the Boba Fett. You know, I'm going to pull that out in a second just to show you. Let me just put this, pop this head back off here so I can get the cape on. Hook it around that thing. It is weird that the helmet isn't magnetized, yet the base is. So this little peg is just weird, you know? Seems, but whatever, I guess it works. The faceplate doesn't seem to want to come off. I don't think there's a face in there. And I notice the eyes are just completely black. So here's a flashlight, right? So you'll notice on this Bandai knockoff, this actually has translucent red eyes. So you can actually see like a face back there. In fact, let me bring this up. I don't even think the normal Bandai has that. Right? Alrighty, so let's get this bag back here. So the lightsaber fits in this hand pretty well. It's not going to fall out easily. And then if you're really concerned, you can just push in enough of it below so like you literally have a physical stop. Let me move this down, and then if I twist it, you know, that switch there is not going to get past that thumb. So it's secure for sure. And then, yeah, I'm loving the cape. You know, you can drape it over his shoulders nicely, or again, you know, do a windswept look. So it's very nice for sure. See that helmet thing? It's really loose. The balance. Alrighty. So let me pull up the Boba Fett here. So the problem I have with this Boba Fett is the armor is so thick, and there's so little space between the joints. It's really hard for this guy to get any good bend in the arms. You know, it can't bend 90 degrees, and even worse, the legs can only bend like 3 degrees. Unlike Darth, who can bend 90 because he has, you know, much thinner clothing. So there's too much collision of clothing here for the skeleton to actually operate you know, to its full ability. Alright, well, even so, it's still a cool figure. I like the Boba. Here's a little Bandai Imperial ball droid there. I forget what that thing's called. Alright, well, so if you like Star Wars and you like deformed, cartoonish caricatures, these are definitely, I think, cool to have. I'm really happy to have both of these. The only problem is I'm late to the game. If you're just discovering this video, you're already late to the game, and so it might be hard to find these. I guess I'll see you the next time. May the Force be with you.